Hey folks, welcome to Doc Talk today. We're going to have a great show. Dr. Casey Olson is going to be with us. We're going to talk about culling cattle. And we got a hat back in, Western Indiana Cattle. David Stoll, thanks for sending us in. Today we're going to talk about what do you do when the cow is open. We go through the preg checking time. Is it worth the preg check? Once we do preg check, what are my options to make more money with my farm and ranch?
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hey there and welcome to Doc Talk. Dr. Olson?
Good to be with you, Dr. Dan.
It's always good to have Dr. Casey Olson with us. He's a ruminant nutritionist and he is which professorship do you have?
The Lewis Professorship.
The Lewis Professorship. I forgot that. I apologize. But basically, it's a chaired professorship here at Kansas State University for a ruminant nutritionist, range nutritionist, and understanding cow nutrition, economics, and many different things. And today, before we get started, Dr. Olson, we have a cap here from the Western Indiana Cattle. This is a marketing group. David Stoll, thank you very much for sending us this cap. And these folks are putting together cow groups and marketing their calves together and do it on Superior. It's a great learning opportunity. And obviously you had some experience with that too, didn't you, back in the day?
It's a decade ago, but when small herd producers can get together and appear large, there's a lot of marketing advantages, a lot of market power that can be generated by pooling calves, by sharing resources, and developing relationships in the beef industry with feeders and with packers and things like that. It's a very intelligent approach to the cow business.
So thank you to David Stoll, Western Indiana Cattle, for sending in your cap. Now, Dr. Olson, today we're going to talk about culling cows, and one of the things that you want to talk about is its importance to our income stream.
Right. You know, as cow-calf producers, cull cows are kind of our afterthought. But if you look at national figures, about 40% of gross income at a typical cow-calf operation comes from cull cow sales. And we all know where those cows are bound. They're bound for the lean trim market. We're a hamburger-loving nation. And that's an important part of our industry.
You bet. And when we talk about the cull cows, you know, there can be some differences between fall and spring calving herds as far as the advantages, right, to hit different markets.
Absolutely. You know, the fall calving producer has certain natural marketing advantages that the spring calving producer doesn't enjoy, and that extends to cull cows, to the calf crop. You know, a wean calf crop, for example, that's ready to go to grass, just when the grass is ready to have the cattle. And it's most of the advantages of that fall calving system have to do with marketing. And from the cull cow specific perspective, the lean trim market tends to be strongest in April, May, and June, just when you'd be
hamburger grilling season coming in.
Hamburger grilling season, and also just when you'd be weaning those fall-born calves and doing pregnancy detection on those cows and deciding who stays and who goes. The strength of that market is such that you get about a 30 to 40% income jump on those cull cows when you compare an October market with a June market, for example.
Gotcha. So obviously, very important to the income stream. There are distinct advantages for fall calving, but there are some things we can do with the spring calvers too to make them more competitive.
Absolutely.
And we'll save that for after the commercial, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about, well, she's open. What are we going to do with her? You're watching Doc Talk. Thanks for joining us today. More with Dr. Casey Olson after these messages.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
We do business with Blueville because of the quality of their work. It is excellent quality, and because they make a commitment to their customers.
We enjoy the benefits of hiring a good company to help us maintain this home.
We will always do business with Blueville. We have for many, many years, and there's no reason for us to look for any other service.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Casey Olson, who is the Lewis Professor in Animal Science and Range Cattle Nutrition here at Kansas State University. And we're talking about cull cows. And you know, when we talk about some of the spring calvers, fall calvers, different things of that nature, kind of walk me through some of the things that we can do to, you know, okay, my cow's open.
Yes.
Now, you know, the decision, I've got to make a decision on what we're going to do.
Okay. Now, in a normal circumstance, we're probably going to diagnose pregnancy in October
Yep.
or November on those spring calving cows. And we're going to have a set of them always that come back not pregnant. And some of those cows are going to be young. We will have had substantial investment in them without an adequate payback opportunity. And if we go ahead and market those at that time of reproductive failure, we're selling into a lean trim market that's not very strong seasonally. So we have some options if we think about our marketing approach intelligently. Now, the University of Nebraska did a study several years ago, Doc, that examined the feasibility of starting a fall calving herd from those reproductive failures from the spring herd, and that actually worked very well. You know, if you have the resources to support late pregnancy and lactation during the fall of the year, that makes perfect sense. But if you're a cow-calf producer like I am, and you don't have those resources, maybe starting a fall herd per se is not the option for you. And I think we have some pretty exciting choices we can make there.
Yeah, and so we have some options. Got to make a decision and move it forward. When we start to think about some of those things towards that stronger market for cull cows, you know, there are different types of markets we can feed them towards, right?
Right. And you know, if you consider at that point that you're really trying to hit just a stronger market, you know, without choosing a particular target, you've got about 8 months, okay, to wait until that strong lean trim market turns back around. And we have some options for those cows. Okay, we can create value simply by hanging on to those cows for that 8-month period of time, putting some weight on them, and waiting for that market to strengthen. The other thing that we could consider is what would be the value in taking that open spring cow and turning her into a pregnant fall calving cow for marketing. What we're doing on my operation, or the one that I manage, is we're taking our open spring cows, we're exposing them for a 45-day period in the fall. We're diagnosing pregnancy sometime in the early spring,
Yep.
And we're selling 2 sets of cull cows now from our operation. We're selling a bred cow that is going into a fall calving herd, and we're also selling the opens from that exercise into the strongest lean trim market of the year.
Well, I think that gives you options, and if you have both a fall and spring calving herd, you might be able to retain some of that money that you put into the genetics and the development.
Yes.
And then if they don't breed back, you've got them marketed and ready to go into that stronger lean trim market. Great information.
It only took 30 years to figure that out.
Can't imagine what the next 30 years is going to bring. But we're going to take 30, 40 seconds off here and go to messages.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it and it worked. I'm not going to go out and take trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities. And it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Healthy cows start with the new Hired Hand automatic livestock sprayer. Rancher invented to provide an efficient alternative to pour-on and injectable parasite management systems. The portable design allows cattle to treat themselves head to hoof. Strategic device placement with pass-through activation technology takes the stress out of parasite treatment for cattle and the rancher, leaving more time to tend to other vital tasks on the farm. To learn more, visit cowsprayer.com. The new Hired Hand makes healthy cows easy.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Casey Olson. We're at Kansas State University where Dr. Olson holds the Lewis Professorship of Range Cattle Nutrition, and interesting who it's named after.
Yeah, Walt Lewis and his wife Frances Lewis were Hereford breeders from Larned, Kansas, and they were very good at growing forage. They were alfalfa production pioneers here in Kansas, and two things were important to the Lewis family: their Hereford genetics and making those Hereford genetics successful on forages. And I'm really, really proud to be able to be associated with the family, and Kansas State University is fortunate for their generosity.
Yep, and you need to come in and see the bronze
That's right.
Hat that Mr. Lewis's that's in our heritage room.
That's right. It's an icon, a Kansas State icon.
It is absolutely great. So, folks, we're talking about those open cows, and so let's say I'm not going to worry about breeding them and things of that nature. I'm going to feed them. And why are some of the reasons why we feed them besides getting to that later market period?
Okay, particularly with older cows, Doc, when they fail reproductively, they do so because they're too thin. And if we take that thin cow and send her to market right away, she's not going to have a very heavy carcass. Fat color will be objectionable, be very yellow, and the quality value of that carcass is pretty low. But we know this from our early days in graduate school, Dan.
That's right.
If we take that same cull cow that's thin and we put some grain into her for as little as 60 days, we can change a variety of carcass value measures.
Yeah, I can remember, speaking of early days of my graduate school, buying some cull cows, bringing them in to feed them, and the first day having two of them die. And one of them was hardware disease, and I remember calling my dad and saying, I had two of them die, and he goes, well, why do you think they called them cull cows? And, and so you have to remember if you're collecting these animals to feed them, and you don't know their background, there could be some things that you ought to know before you're going to invest in the feed wagon and things of that nature. But if you know these animals and you know that they're just thin, maybe you've gone through a drought, we're going to put some weight on them. Obviously, the more weight that's on them, the better muscling score they get and the more carcass quality, right, that they fit in the box?
Absolutely. We can add value just by making the carcass heavier. We can add value by changing the color of the fat and thus improving the quality designation of the carcass. And we can actually make that carcass useful for more things other than just ground beef.
Yeah, and I think that that's what people, one of the things that we tend to not understand is that as that animal has more muscling, you not only get paid more per animal, you get paid more per pound because the animal has more options and better cutability.
That's right. And, where we don't typically use certain technologies with breeding cows, we can use those technologies, implants, ionophores, things like that, and a grain diet that might be as high as 60% to change that carcass value.
Absolutely. We use very aggressive implant strategies. Can even use a beta agonist on these cull cows to help marketing and increase muscling and different things to that nature. We're not worried so much about marbling score as we are in a young calf. All right, folks, we're going to take a break. We're very fortunate to have Dr. Casey Olson on this show. We're very fortunate to have him here at Kansas State University. We're going to take a few minutes here. When we come back, we're going to wrap up talking about what to do in marketing strategies or retainment strategies of cull cows.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
This Prevention Works Minute, brought to you by Beringer Ingelheim Vet Medica, Inc.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan here. Thanks for joining me on our Prevention Works Minute. When we start to think about preventing disease, a lot of times we think about the reason why animals get sick, either an overwhelming dose of a pathogen or a suppressed immune system. When we have a suppressed immune system, most of the time that's due to stress. And one of the things that I really focus on with our feedlot crews and stocker crews is low stress cattle handling. I think it's vitally important that cattle are handled and acclimated in a sense that we make sure that we do not increase the level of stress when we're handling. Make sure that they're exposed to you before you ship those animals, making sure that they understand the commands and that they're acclimated, so that when we ship calves to the feedlot or when we bring calves off the truck at the feedlot, we're practicing good low-stress cattle handling. Will increase the immune response because we decrease the amount of stress that we see in those calves. And we all know that prevention works.
Did you know long-range planning through the checkoff can help keep your business profitable? To successfully pass on cattle operations from one generation to the next, it's important to promote beef and keep farms and ranches profitable. Your Beef Checkoff helps do that.
I'm Jeff Mingus. I'm from Southeast Arizona, where we have a family cattle ranch. I've been in the cattle business my entire life. I can remember the onset of the checkoff program, and when the Beef Council decided to use checkoff dollars to create additional demand for the chuck and the round. And I think that created a significant increase in the price of our product, and I think the Beef Checkoff has been beneficial for our operation.
So we moved to an area on a national backcountry byway, and because of that there's a lot of tourists and they'll stop in sometimes, and we've had a lot of people come out to the ranch. So we take that as a real opportunity to educate people about the beef industry. So we built this catering business when I retired a few years ago. I've used Beef Checkoff recipes over the last 20 years, but when you're really producing that for the public, it takes on a whole new meaning.
As a young rancher, there was a lot for me to learn when I came back to the ranch. I feel as if the Beef Checkoff gave me additional tools I needed. The Beef Quality Assurance program has helped teach me how to handle cattle in a more effective manner, a way that's the most beneficial to the cow and the most efficient for the producer.
And I'm really proud to be able to say that the beef industry is reaching out to the consumer. I have this one on my website, Gazpacho Steak Salad. It's very popular. And this is one that millennials like because it's quick, it's fast, and they don't have a lot of time to prepare. And this one has been really popular with men because you ask them, do you like to grill? And of course they say yes, and say, well, here's just a couple of recipes, and they grab them.
We feel really blessed that we have one of our sons, Ben, wanting to carry on the ranching tradition, so he'll be a 5th generation cattle rancher in my family.
No matter where, no matter why, the Veterinary Health Center at Kansas State University is committed to providing quality patient care to animals and exceptional customer service to their owners. From routine checkups to emergency and specialty care, our world-renowned specialists and experienced professionals are here to discover, to teach, and to heal.
Let us know.
How can I help?
How can we help?
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook or Twitter.
Hey folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with my friend and colleague, Dr. Casey Olson. And appreciate all you do. Appreciate what you do for our students and appreciate what you do for our industry, folks. Wealth of information here with this person, and if your kid's looking for a place to go to college and a mentor, this is one of them that I would be the first one that I'd pick. Folks, when we talk about, or Casey, when we're talking about, let's just kind of do a wrap up. Let's just talk about, because people are going to be going out, they're going to be pregging their cows here this fall, and what do I do with this open one?
Okay. You know, you fall calving producers, you don't have any problems marketing cull cows. It's the spring calving producer that has the problems. You got options. You can sell into a porn market in October or November. You can hang on to that cow and expose her for breeding in the fall and sell, either retain it, start a fall herd, or sell a portion of those cows as bred and the portion that doesn't stick as lean trim into the strongest lean trim market of the year. And if neither one of those things is appealing and you have the resources, you can, in a very short period of time, as little as 60 days, put a high grain diet and some nutrition technology in front of that cow. You can change her carcass value dramatically in a very short period of time.
And another thing we didn't mention earlier that just remember back in the days, you know, when we went to that $8 corn, it was not a time to be feeding cull cows. Sure. But when we're talking about $3 corn, now it's a different, hanging on to those animals, putting some weight on them, keeping them at least until that January or February, at least get them past the first of the year. It may not be the strongest lean trim market, but it could be a stronger one than what we have selling into in the fall.
Absolutely.
The cheaper the corn is, the better opportunity is to feed those guys.
And marketing is the hardest thing to learn, but it's the most important skill to know, I'm sure, as our friends in Indiana understand.
You bet. Well, when we come into some of these animals, you know, also, you know, we talk about low body condition score, but the other thing that people need to be aware of, if you're starting to have quite a few open cows, be working with your local veterinarian to make sure you don't have some sort of infectious disease or some venereal disease going through your cows or something that or in your bulls to cause this.
And sometimes a slip in pregnancy percentage is subtle, and sometimes it's very dramatic. You see one of those dramatic changes, you need to get a hold of your veterinarian immediately, get some diagnostic work done.
Talk to me just a little bit too about the importance of preg checking.
Well, on average, producer in Kansas is going to spend about $820 a year just in cow maintenance. That amounts to about a $2.40 cost accrual every day of the year. If you're keeping a cull cow, a non-pregnant cow for 1 day longer than necessary, you just lit $2.40 on fire.
You just paid the preg check fee.
Yes.
So get your cows preg checked, and then when you know, then you have options, things that'll make more money for you and more money for your herd. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for being on the show.
Great
Always good to have Dr. Olson here. Remember to work with your local veterinarian, get those cows preg checked. And if you want to know more about what we do at Doc Talk, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here at Kansas State University. Thanks for watching Doc Talk, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.